My name is Amin Bouafa. I'm a film music composer and I am the composer for Acompanhem-me, the video game. I remember having a message from Talal saying that he loved the score of Summit of the Gods and they are working in a new video game and inviting me to come to the studio and to meet the team. It was very important for me to understand how the music would be interactive. So how to compose, how to write music that would be interactive with models, with stems, with separating the different elements, and at the same time, how could the music, how the structure of the music would be an evolving structure. It was very important for me first to have the story of Ariane and Thomas, like that the log line is the story, both of them, so there is a theme that conveys this emotional relationship between them. And then the frozen aspect of the music. I mean, for me, it was very important first to feel the cold in the music, to feel the wind, to feel the ice. It's an instrument that had been invented by the Bachet brothers in the mid-20th century. For me, it looks like an alien instrument. When you see it, cannot even predict that it's a musical instrument. To play the instrument, you need to get your hands in water and then rub crystal buttons that are in this metal structure could convey this frozen identity of the score, and at the same time having this magical sense of in the score. There is a sacred feeling also to this planet. It's a huge planet, but I wanted to get this huge instrument and that it could also play very soft. The organ has a lot of sounds. It could be very soft, it could be very aggressive, it could be large, it could be intimate. For me, it's the planet. The planet could be very welcoming and suddenly very, how to say, very dangerous and very sacred at the same time. So I thought that the organ could give this majestuous feeling to the score. I'm so happy to write the music for Acompanhem-me. It's the first time for me to write a video game score, and it's a lot of fun and a lot of passion.
We had some discussions at the early stages of the production, to be honest, whether to go fully class system or something else. And again, we started with sitting down and lining up what are possible ways that the player might perceive the game, the power fantasies, how he can express himself in combat. So he might want to be a sniper, he might want to be a hacker, maybe an engineer, something else. As we designed those play styles, we thought how to mix it up a bit, how to let player to experiment with what he encounters during the game. So, for example, when he finds a neat shoulder cannon, as we've shown in the announcement trailer, even if if he's a sniper, he might want to experiment with that. Why not? It fits the universe, it fits the playstyle. He might want to see how it works. And so we decided why not to give him the possibility to do that. That was the idea behind the playstyle. So playstyle is basically the starting preset that kind of gently guides you towards the certain direction of your power fantasy of how you play the game. At some point, the player will need to commit to his choices. So again, it's an important part of the choices system. You know, if you just can switch everything on the fly, that kind of makes your choices less important. So at some point, you need to stick to particular guns, particular gadgets, and you just build around them. We give you some time to experiment, but you will need to commit. During the character creation, you will have to choose between three major factions. Your origin, so you'll be either Belter or Earther or Martian. Facial customization, appearance, you can choose your body type.
So you will be playing as a pink water mercenary with different type of origin that you would create. You will have your sibling with the same, like, identical one. They will look a little bit different because they're their own person. They have their own personality. These events are set during the first 3 books, I think. You will start on Eras and witness basically the events from a different angle, and this part will be to some degree shown in your character creation.
Every companion should belong somewhere in the universe, and they have their own background, consisting of their faction and their acquaintance. They have some background story, their own struggles. All this stuff will influence how they perceive the situations player encounters. So in every major plot event, they will have their opinions. They might hint you towards some decisions. They might provide you some assistance, or maybe even some crucial contacts to go for help, for advice, for military support, maybe. Of course, they will have their own stories, their own struggles, and you can choose to help them, or maybe to ignore their own stories, totally depending on how you want to be invested in this particular companion. The choices you make for those companions also will matter in long term.
Yep, some of them will have romances, and you can see on our background companions.
Perfect.
We cannot say who is going to have romance, but there will definitely be romance in our game.
It's a small crew on the small ship. You know, the Expanse, it's a universe where everyone flies in very tight spaces for a very long time. So there is a dynamics in the crew as well. We have a few layers of the combat system. First of all, it's obviously the gunplay. A few classes of weapons that you can use, and mostly you do it from the covers, so it's a cover-based gunplay game. And the second layer of the combat system is that's your abilities. That they might be more like offensive ones, maybe something like a grenade or a shoulder cannon, or maybe something more defensive like a shield, or maybe a protective drone. A lot of gadgets that you can choose from depending on your play style. And as Julia mentioned, there are some play styles that are mostly focused on using your gadgets rather than using your weapons. Third layer, but still very important, that's obviously your companions. They have their impact on the combat. They have what we call combat opportunities. That's particular situations when you can order your companion to use an exploit in the arena, in the environment, to gain a certain advantage in combat. We decided against the management, the gameplay part of the survival stuff. So you won't be counting your gallons of reaction mass or how much water you need to recycle before it dries out, nothing like that. But still, the expanse universe is very dangerous. So in terms of narrative, the survival will be a part of the game. You will have a tremendous enemy. You will have a lot of very dangerous situations that you will have to get out somehow. There will be a lot of survival in terms of your player experience, just not as a particular mechanic. You will be able to fly around the solar system.
Nice.
You will be able to visit various planets. We mentioned it before that we have Luna, Mars, Ceres, Io, and some other cool places to visit. And some of those places will be like major social hubs where you can just walk around, meet other people, drink at the bar, shop for better equipment and stuff like that. So you will have plenty of places to go and to visit and to look at. The Expanse universe is cruel, and some characters might die because of your choices. Stay tuned for more.
Outward is an open world RPG, which for once you're not some kind of special superhero or the last child from a prophecy. You're just a dude or a dudette. And the reason why we are downscaling who the player is because they want to be immersed more than they want to be powerful. And that was the big change in our approach, and we made all of our design decisions to be in alignment with this vision. If you were just a regular person and you wanted to think like a human would, but in a fantasy world, it's when you are aloof, when you're just like, that's not so dangerous, I've done it before, and that's when life just snaps back at you, right? In real life, that's like that. It should be like that in the design as well. So one gigantic thing is the character creation. In Outward 1, like, we had very ugly protagonists and we didn't have a lot of options. You know, you had like 3 skin colors, a handful of faces, a handful of haircuts, and that was it. It feels like really drawing yourself into an RPG. You choose a background, you choose traits, you have a very granular system to modify and customize your character to your liking. One of the big thing is you choose one of 3 starting locations. So as a regular person, what justifies throwing yourself into danger? How do you become an adventurer? Well, we have 3 different quests depending on which city you choose. So if you are in Simeon's Bastion, you are a homeless person, you're desperate. In Tramontaine, you are a miner and you're trying to like improve your status and your quality of life. In Haboob, you are just a clerk who just bought a house. What could possibly go wrong? You know, and very mundane situations, like you're not special or anything, but something special happens to you, and then you have to live up to the situation. We want a weather system that is very dynamic. So now we have a year-long calendar with seasons, and you just go through all that. So it's going to be winter, and then it's spring, and then summer, and does change, like what kind of stuff can be found, what kind of armor you need to wear. Dual wielding is gigantic. So now you can combine anything that goes in one hand, and that opens up a lot of possibilities. In Outward 1, like, you had your offhand could only have a set amount of things, and you had your main hand. Now you can just interchange. You can have 2 shields if you want. It sucks. I don't recommend, but you can. Of course, like, just visually, and the fact that it is much more lush, it's more filled, it's more visually vibrant. That's going to be something that people will notice very quickly. Just like in Outward 1, we have 8 skill trees, and all those skill trees have some exclusive skills. So if you take one, you can't take the other, and you have a maximum of 3 breakthrough points. So there's only 3 skill trees that you can learn from to the maximum of the capabilities. Otherwise, when you have like the first few layers of skills available. One thing we added are the attribute points, the core stats. So strength, agility, constitution, willpower, intelligence. We added those. We're gonna track a lot of different things that you do. They're all gonna have like different thresholds. So let's say you dodge attacks successfully a certain number of times, you unlock a node that will give you a passive trait and increase your agility. So very small incremental changes. We start with very simple things, and it expands us in more and more circles. So you won't be able from the very start to unlock all 3 skill trees just because you have the cash to do it. You will have to have experience. You will need to have practiced the life of danger in Ori to be able to understand, like get to the next level of the skill trees. Other than that, well, I think it's important to note that all
Is it recording?
Yeah, it is.
It's in the sky, a giant cube. I can still barely believe it myself. When it showed up, I was in the lab. I didn't even see it. You know, I felt that same fear, though. A terrible sense of my own powerlessness. How did the whole of humanity miss it? And did we actually miss it? What if the cube didn't appear, but revealed itself? What if it was always there, and we've only just started to see it?
Welcome to the world of Execular. We are Kasia and Amadeus, the creators of the game,
and this is Gameplay Overview. Execular is a first-person action-adventure game that encourages exploration, rewards curiosity.
and never holds your hand.
You play as Denzel Phoenix, an Execular, a corporate bounty hunter.
Execulars hunt down fugitives and reclaim souls from those who try to escape the system.
One of the game's main hubs is the Tower, a massive fortress city ruled by the Helion Corporation. This is where you accept contracts, upgrade your gear, and prepare for missions.
Job well done, contract fulfilled.
The game is structured in chapters, and almost everyone begins and ends in the Tower.
Outside the tower lies a harsh, scorched desert. You travel through it in a heavily modified car designed to protect you from extreme conditions such as heat and radiation. Inside the vehicle, you have access to your computer, storage, and a working radio.
From your
Survival is core part of the experience.
Inventory space is limited, and every item matters, forcing players to make careful decisions about what to carry and what to leave behind.
Hellion's high-tech systems allow you to hack devices, pick locks, and access restricted areas.
Your cybernetic implants help you uncover hidden elements and investigate the environment. Missions and level design are fully non-linear. There's no single way to complete a contract. Stealth, dialogue, and combat are all valid approaches and can be freely combined.
In Exekiller, every decision matters.
What's it gonna be? Plata or muerte?
Wishlist Exekiller on Steam.
In the United States, Washington, D.C., completely ravaged by a pandemic and struck by the strongest, worst blizzard of all time. And you are going to have to survive and extract the most valuable resources. And of course, that leads us to survivors. So what are we doing? Like, we can't rest on our laurels, our 10-year-old laurels from survival. So we're reimagining it. We're bringing this snowstorm, this weather change to Washington, D.C. And that's something that you've never seen in Washington, D.C. We're going to transform the entire map. We're thinking about it in a very different way with innovations that haven't been seen yet. There's a focus on this to make it such a different feeling experience from the core Division 2 experience. I think we've got something super, super promising here. Survivors is developed with Magnus Jensen, who is the original Division 1 creative director. So this is a guy who lives and breathes the Division. He's so excited about jumping into this type of game mode again. And there is a hint in the title of something that we're going to be doing really differently from everybody else. We always develop with a player in mind, with player types in mind. And I think here we have to acknowledge that the Division 2 has a large player base of passionate gamers. And one of the things that we want to do is really lean into the sort of comfort game of the Division 2. People are happy to jump in, know their way around the controller, know their way around the map. They know how to play this game. So we're going to take that and subvert it a little bit and change the map and make sure that the weather has an impact on you, which it doesn't have in Division 2. So there are lots of little things that we're doing to surprise our core audience. Veteran players, they're going to be surprised. All of these locations that they know by heart, they're going to be transformed. So the Division 3 is in production, right? This is not a secret. It's been announced. It's shaping up to be a monster. I can't really say anything more than that, but this is within these walls in Massive. We are working extremely hard on something that I think will be as big an impact as Division 1 was. There's a team in Paris working on this, and they're putting the final touches on a mobile execution of the promise of Division 1. So Division 1, New York, pandemic strikes, take back New York. This is a brand new story with mechanics that are really fine-tuned to a mobile phone. Graphically, this looks like a PS5. You may have seen the adverts for it. It looks phenomenal, really, really good. It plays really good. And it has a few innovations. You know, the Dark Zone, this area of atypical PvP. It was an area where, much like other games today, popular games today, you could walk around, you could hear gunshots, go over there, there'd be another agent. You'd approach cautiously, feel each other out and decide whether to partner or to actually engage in PvP. The whole of the Resurgence map is friendly to other agents. So you'll hear gunshots on a corner. You won't need to be in the dog zone. It could be anywhere, and you can group with those people. So PvP is off by default, but being able to group up
back and forth as we play test between like, oh, I'm finding something that's a little difficult here. Well, what can I do with my gear set in order to tweak things? Or like, is there a different skill that I should pick up for this particular encounter? And then be able to go dive right back in. The player is an ace, which is a deathless defender of humanity, which is currently sequestered away on the Belfry, which is McLaren's background over there. It's a tower that was set up for mysterious purposes, but turned out to be a pretty good haven for folks after the fall of their stronghold, the City of Numbers. The player is helping humanity as they can, getting refugees to safety, battling the beastkin that have risen and have become incredibly aggressive, while ultimately attempting to find out why did numbers fall and what conspiracy is still brewing there.
We wanted players to experience a brawler type combat inside like a Diablo style RPG gear sort of system. And so we've spent a lot of time over the last 6 months or so taking a ton of feedback from our players to really kind of hone that particular system. So players should be able to come in, pick one of the 4 classes that we have. They'll see a whole new set of skills. They'll find a whole bunch of new equipment. And the idea should be that they should feel like one of several heroes going in and just beating a bunch of like awesome monsters. We've tried to add new enemies, new lieutenants, and new bosses. I think people are gonna feel like quite the adventure as they go into the updated version of Towerborn. Stoic has always tried to be player first. When we decided to do early access for Towerborn, a lot of that was born out of we had a vision of trying to evolve the brawler into something bigger, something that hadn't really been done before. You can see other games have taken different routes. You know, some have taken kind of the roguelite route, some stayed into the traditional. We wanted to kind of expand it to more like the true action RPG. And in order to do that, early access was very, very important to figure out what was going to work and what wasn't. Simultaneously, we didn't want to be caught in early access limbo, right? Like, I'm sure this is the kind of things that you would love to talk about. I love to talk about them too. How do you not stay in early access for 7 years? Our intent and purpose was we need to come out of early access solid. And there is a certain point where you just collect everything. Most of the feedback that's coming in either kind of falls into an existing category. Hey, a lot of people have said this thing, you know, maybe you might get something new, but you look at it and you're like, yes, it's new, but it's not reaching the, you know, kind of urgency that some of these other things are. We have a good list of things now. This is kind of what the players have told us. We need to really deliver on that. And the best way we can deliver on that is just, you know, put your head down, focus, and create an experience that I believe is worthy of coming out of early access, that people should look at that and say like, oh, okay, I see why you did it. Absolutely was worth it. I can see a clear night and day difference between what is in live right now and what I am receiving when you go into the 1.0.
One of the big pieces was that folks were big fans of certain pieces of actual gear that you would earn through the game. But there was no cosmetic version of that. And so you had to make the choice of like, do I want to look good? Or do I want to look a little janky but more powerful? And so we added the ability to be able to create a cosmetic version of the gear that you earn through writs, which are earned through completing adventures.
And so the idea initially with Towerborn was we just want to make a fun beat 'em up with a light story in the background. We weren't really going to lean into kind of the stoic narrative strength that we have, and we just kind of wanted to take a bit of a breather. And we had expected, perhaps incorrectly, that the community would see it for what it is and be okay with it. But it turned out a lot of people were like, wait, you have something very interesting in the background here. You know, we actually really want to know what's going on. We really would like something more clearly leading us through. And so we've spent a very significant amount of time and resource to put a narrative from the jump And so there's an arc now. There's a primary antagonist. You will understand that antagonist. You will confront that antagonist, and there will be resolution. And so there's probably a 12 to 20-ish hour story.
Does the moon or the south still shine bright?
this game, you can clearly slay dragons. Is that true?
There are dragons in the game, and you do fight them. We haven't revealed just yet whether or not you can actually slay them, but you can slay them, you can fly them.
Can you lay them?
I'm sorry to the Lua fans, but at this point we're not confirming whether or not there's dragon relations.
Could you speak a little bit to how big this game is?
We've been seeing some news out there with some specific numbers floating around about how big the map is. I don't think numbers really do it justice because how big is that in terms of scope and scale? But what we can say is the world's at least twice as big as the open world and playable area of Skyrim. It's larger than the map of a Red Dead Redemption 2. Open world games are about doing things, having activities, having distractions. So we wanted to create a world that's not only massive, but is also incredibly interactive. Obviously, you and your community, Lua, care a lot about romance systems. This is not that type of game in terms of RPG elements and decision-making. What it is, though, is you choose the type of character that you want to play as in terms of your progression within the systems in the game. And then through basically headcanon, you're having this very different experience than other players because of the scope and scale of the game. You'll be distracted by something, you'll go on this quest line, you'll have an experience that'll be radically different than someone else, even though they're playing the same game. The guiding principle for the game is around empowering the player and not forcing them into specific choices. There's a lot of time between now and launch in March for us to be able to elaborate on those systems, show people if they have, say, I have an hour to jump in and play this game after work, what is my experience going to look like? So we've done a little bit of showing when you're not in combat, how you're taking advantage and interacting in the world, harvesting resource, gathering them for a whole crafting system that we have in the game for equipment, as well as
You can build your house, apparently.
there is a house. The world is made to be interacted with, and that's also how you learn about the world. So by talking to NPCs, by picking up chickens, then you've learned and your codex will have been updated about the chicken.
What about things that go beyond like fighting? Is there like puzzles? Is there like different types of quests?
That's a great question. One of the things that we showcased, we had a team over to Korea to do a deep dive kind of behind the scenes last September. They came out and we showed them a glimpse of a bunch of different systems. One of the systems that we showed them was in what we call the aerial abyss. It's those sky islands that you see there. That's a very important and pivotal part in the story and quest and mystery surrounding the world. In those sky islands, there are puzzles. They all have a different vibe, if you will, and then treasures and rewards for completing them.
When can people get the game? Where can they get it? What does that look like for you guys?
The game comes out on March 19th across basically every platform. It'll be available on consoles on PS5, as well as Xbox Series X and S, PC, as